Our halls have been thoroughly decked and the stockings have been hung by the chimney with care.
Actually, Miss Tangella stuffed the holiday stockings with fireworks and then proceeded to throw them into the fireplace.
I wonder if there'll ever be a day when I shall cast my eyes upon something she does that will surprise me. In any case, moving on, this will be our final opportunity to bid you adieu. A Merry Christmas and a pleasant tomorrow. Tangella, might you have any words for our guests before we pass them back to Dennis Willis and crew over at the Soundwaves Christmas set?
Season's greetings to all and to all a good night.
That can't possibly be what she said.
No, but it seemed far more appropriate than what she actually said.
Oh, of course. In any case, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and yours. Now let's get back to the Soundwaves Christmas set, where they're joined by a very special guest.
Hey, we got to say thank you to the Creature Features guys.
Yeah.
Now,
Nice.
you got your Creature Features, and then you got your Creature Features, because our special guest right now, of course, the one and only John Stanley,
Yeah.
everybody.
A creature without the feature.
That's okay.
Hey, I want to thank both of you. You have invited me to be on this show since the year 1996, and I've only missed one show because I had to go review for the San Francisco Chronicle a Clint Eastwood movie set on the island of Iwo Jima. Otherwise, I've been here every year.
It's a perfectly respectable reason to miss.
I will accept that answer. Yeah, that's fine.
Right. Tell that to Clint.
I have to say that you don't realize that you've got a bucket list until something appears in front of you and you go, oh yeah, that's on it. And I'm not a bucket list kind of guy, but I got to tell you, you haven't hosted Creature Feature since 1984. That's
84.
33 years, and we've become good friends since.
Yep.
And I just figured, well, John doesn't host Creature Features anymore. That's just the way it is. I just have to accept it. And then, all of a sudden, there's a new Creature Features, and John's a guest. And I'm like, yes, John's a guest.
And who's my guest?
And perfectly bridging the past and the future. And all of a sudden, John calls me one day, and he says, you're never going to believe this. They asked me to be a guest host. Yeah. I was like, yes, good for you. And then you asked me to be your guest.
You're going to be my guest, right?
And I'm like, holy crap! I get to be
he fell off his bar stool.
I did. I get to be on Creature Features, and B, I get to be on it with you. And I can't even tell you how much fun that was.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was Buster Crabbe. We got to talk about Flash
can we
Gordon.
just tell him right now? John gave me a list of movies, and he's like, oh, these are our movies. And I'm like, Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe. That's the one we're doing.
If you know Dennis Willis at all, Flash Gordon is his thing, baby. And that was great. I mean, that was just firing on all cylinders. It couldn't have been any better than you and Flash Gordon, Creature Features.
I had an interview with Buster Crabbe, so we could talk about that. We could talk about the music pieces.
Oh yeah.
They were coming.
We got into the weeds. We didn't just talk
from
about
the
drinking.
Closet.
Yeah. And you know your stuff. I mean, it's funny. We were driving up there to it was like a 2-hour drive to the studio.
Yeah.
And we're listening to this wonderful orchestral music, and John's like, okay, that's Treasure of the Sierra Madre right there, and that's Casablanca. Like, we listen to 80s stuff. John listens to movie scores. And he's just rattling off all these details, like, at this day in the studio, the temperature was this, and so and so. Amazing. It was so much fun.
Max Steiner. Music by Max Steiner.
Look, this is what I'm talking about.
Nobody was better.
This is what I'm talking about. And you know what? It's also always awesome to have John on the show. And a lot of times he brings gifts. And actually, Daniel, step in here for a second, would you? Daniel's playing Carol Merrill here. Wow. Thank you very much, Daniel, for bringing those in. John came bearing gifts here. John, why don't you tell us about the stuff that you brought along today?
Well, this is the Czar of Noir. This is about Eddie Muller, who runs the Film Noir Festival every year at the Castro Theater. He fills the theater 10 nights in a row.
Wow.
1,300 people a night. It's one of the most successful
We can't even fill up the Longboard Margarita Bar.
The most successful film festival in America, right there.
Very impressive. And what do we got next here, John?
This was a book by Robert Bloch, the man who wrote Psycho. We were going to do 3 of these collections of old short stories from Fantastic Adventures, Pulp magazine. Unfortunately, Bob died, and so this is the only book that was published.
So very, very rare indeed. And what do we got finally here?
Well, this is a collection of interviews I did at the San Francisco Chronicle. Interviews with Clint Eastwood, 5 different
There's Clint right there on the cover. He's the reason you missed that one show.
Robert Mitchum, I published a book by his brother John, so I got to know Robert Mitchum very well. Chuck Norris, just a slew of the action stars of Hollywood. And the beautiful women like Jane Russell, Barbara Stanwyck.
Don't get him started on the
Don't get him
beautiful
started.
women of
We'll be here all
Hollywood.
night.
Yeah.
But here's the great thing. John brought along copies of all of these, and for our lovely studio audience here, we actually have copies of a lot of this material that you're going to be able to take home, autographed by John Stanley for tonight. That was very nice of you, John.
You know
I'll
what?
even sign my real name.
You know what? Oprah used to give out cars. This is much cooler.
And you get a book, and you get a book, and you get a book.
Nice. John, thank you very much. Happy holidays to you, sir.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. Steve, thanks, folks. Thanks.
And now, for the last time tonight, we're going to throw it into the other room here at the Longboard Margarita Bar with Renee and Irish Greg in our final act of the night. And these guys are cool. You're going to love them. Check them out. Werner Herzog. Let's cut to Renee and Irish Greg. Take it away, guys.
And now I'm going to fall off my bar stool.